danced in the morning when the world was begun, and I danced in the moon and the stars and the sun, and I came down from heaven and I danced on the earth. At Bethlehem I had my birth. Dance then wherever you may be, I am the Lord of the dance, said he, and I lead you all wherever you may be, and I lead you all in the dance, said he.
Feed the hungry and help those in trouble. Then your light will shine out from the darkness, and the darkness around you will be as bright as noon. That's a verse from the Old Testament in the book of Isaiah, chapter 58 and verse 10. Hello everybody, my name's Irene and welcome to today's story. Our story is about someone you probably already know something about. Her name's Mother Theresa and her work in India, in the slums of Kolkata. That used to be known as Calcutta, and it's one of the biggest cities in India. And we'll be thinking about how we can care for other people ourselves. She had a brother and a sister, both of whom were older than her. Her family were quite well off and they lived a good life. Her mother often took in the poorest people she met and she'd feed them and sometimes give them a place to sleep at night. She learned from her parents that it was important to look after and care for people who were in need. And sometimes she went with her mother to help and feed the people who needed it. When Agnes was 8 years old, her father died, so all they had left in the world was the house that they lived in. They found a way to manage though, and Agnes still came home sometimes, found her mother feeding people, even though she now didn't have very much herself. When a new priest arrived in town, he told her about his time in India, helping the poor in Kolkata. Agnes felt that she heard the voice of God calling her to serve others. And by the time she was 12, she told her mother about this. Her mum thought she was far too young, but the thoughts didn't go away. And by the time she was 18, she knew she wanted to be a missionary. She did her training as a nun in Ireland. Not easy, as she didn't speak English when she first arrived there. She asked people to call her Teresa. Teresa taught at a convent school while she was finishing her training and learning the main Indian languages. She carried on teaching for many years in India and became Mother Theresa when she took responsibility for the school she was working at. She loved teaching and she was very happy doing it. But she saw a great deal of poverty. Many of the people lived in very poor, overcrowded areas called slums, without running water or proper toilets or very much that was helpful at all. They had to beg and search for their food on a daily basis, and others lived in the streets, even young children who had no parents. While she was there, she received a message from God telling her to go into the slums and to live amongst the poor. She wanted to be one of the people and not to look different to them, so she chose to wear a sari, a white sari with a blue stripe. For work, it was hard to know where to begin. So she started by drawing letters in the dust on the ground using a stick. And from it, she started to teach children the alphabet. The children were curious and they came every day. And every week, more and more children would come. People started to donate things that she needed, such as slates and chalk, tables and chairs. She had a school, even if she didn't have a building for it. And she started to give the children bars of soap as rewards for coming to school and learning. They'd never had soap before, and Mother Theresa knew how important being clean was to stop children getting sick. One day, a young woman came to visit her who she'd taught when she was younger. She came because she wanted to help the poor, just like Mother Theresa was doing. And then another one came. and another one, and another one. 12 altogether. Mother Theresa was given permission to form a new order of nuns called the Missionaries of Charity. And as well as the other vows they took as nuns, they also vowed to serve the poorest of the poor. And they went on to open hospitals and orphanages and schools and clinics, and even a special village for people with leprosy called the City of Peace. Mother Teresa believed that people of all faiths worshipped the same God, and she didn't mind what faith people were of. She offered them the same love and help and care. She believed that the most important thing was to love each other. She said, when they love one another, they come closer to God. She went on to open missions of charity houses all over the world, and in time, even in war zones. And when asked, she said it was because they were all children of God, and they had to care for everybody who needed it. Her work was so important that in 1979 she was awarded a really important prize that you might have heard of. It was called the Nobel Peace Prize for the work that she'd done. She didn't really want to take it because she didn't want anybody to draw attention to her, but in the end she accepted it in the name of the poor. What a life! How amazing that one person can have such an effect on the world and make life so much better for so many people. She was certainly very, very special. Mother Teresa's message to the world was, it doesn't matter if you do big or small things in your life, as long as you do them with love. So how do we show others that we care about them? There are lots of ways, and I'm sure you already do many of them. The best way is by the nice things we can do for them each and every day. Like when someone isn't very well and we chat or make them a card, or if it's a smaller brother or sister maybe, we can even read them a story and help them to feel better. And when someone's sad, we can smile and say hello to them, make them feel that somebody cares about them. If there's someone who's alone in the playground, we can sit and talk to them, or maybe even invite them to play with us. A simple act of kindness can say a lot more than a gift. I'll give you some examples. Listen to what people have to say. Say thank you when they do something nice for you. Forgive them when they do something that hurts your feelings. Put their needs ahead of your own sometimes. Write them a kind note. Give them a gift for no reason at all. Offer encouragement when people feel discouraged. Volunteer to help them when they're doing something difficult. Invite them to do something special with you. So making time for them, maybe letting your little brother or sister do a special job with you, or asking them if they'd like to do something. And share a snack with them. That's always a nice thing to do. Sharing food is one of the biggest ways that many people show that they care. I'm sure you can think of lots of other things too. Thank you all for listening and thinking about caring. Hello everyone. I have an activity for you to do with our youngest children today, our 0 to 3s. In your envelope for Wednesday, you'll find a sheet like this that has a quote from Winnie the Pooh on the bottom. It says, sometimes it's better to put love into hugs rather than words. And what we're going to do is we're going to put a handprint in the middle of your heart. The other thing that you'll have in your envelope is a sheet like this. I think it's yellow though, and it's baby friendly finger paint. Ordinary school paint is absolutely fine and non-toxic, but some people with very young children prefer not to use real paint. I usually put mine in a baking tray. I have a paintbrush and some water, and I have a paper towel because I think this could get quite messy. And the last thing I have is a folded up cloth, and that's so that you can get a really nice print. So first things first, what are we going to do? We are going to use our palest colour, which is yellow, and mix some of the water with it. And I'm going to put a nice big dollop all the way down the cloth. This one. Clean the brush as well as I can. And the next colour I'm going to put is orange, red. Careful with this one because you don't want it to smudge too much. The rainbow. And there we are. I have all my stripes ready to go. Now my hand is quite a lot larger than the hands of the children that you have. So I'm going to do it a little bit differently. I'm going to do mine as a fist. So I put it in front of me and I put my hand again into the paint, remembering not to squidgle it around, but I can press. That way I don't disturb all the colours. And then I'm going to place it on the heart, and again, I'm not going to squivel it around. I'm going to gently press it, hold the paper and bring it up. Looks a bit disappointing because of course it isn't a hand. The ones that you do with the children will be, and I promise you, you'll like them an awful lot more. Hello everybody. Today we're going to make a picture of Mother Theresa, the person that we heard about in the story today. You're going to need your envelope that says Wednesday, but you're also going to need a pair of scissors that you can use with paper and or with felt. You're going to need a pen or a pencil and some glue. Now then, it can be PVA glue, that's absolutely fine. In fact, it's perfect for the job. I've got some tacky glue and that one's really strong and I know it's going to work really well. So I'm going to put that one out of the way because I'm going to use the tacky glue. If you don't have a glue stick, it's fine. You can use a little bit of cardboard that you fold over. We're going to cut up all of the tissue paper into strips. There we are. So now I've got lots and lots of bits. I'm going to glue all over the back of the plate. Now I'm going to stick all my pieces of paper all over it. I think it's now just about dry and you can see that it's covered all over and all my edges are neatly trimmed. The thing I'm going to use is the piece of white felt. And what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to put it about a third of the way down. And I'm going to turn it over and then I'm going to draw around the shape. So there we are. You can see it comes almost to the top, but not quite. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm also going to do a little one at the bottom so that Mother Theresa doesn't look like she's got a bandage around her head. And then I'm going to cut it out there. And then the big one. There we are. The next thing to do is I'm going to use these two pieces of felt that are left and I'm going to mark them again. And I've drawn the two parts so that when I cut them, they're going to fit either side nice and neatly. Being very careful not to get glue everywhere. And then again with the two sides. Push it back that way. And we've almost got our Mother Theresa. We are going to cut a thickish one that's about a centimetre wide, and 2 smaller ones that are each about half a centimetre wide. And I'm going to put them on my headdress. And I'm going to make them go right the way round. And that will go there. And now I can glue it all the way round, like so. If you're careful to make it bend round the shape, there. That's going to go round there, like so. There. Start one side, pull it a little bit as we go. Very much like Mother Theresa now, isn't she? But look, I think round about there is best for my one. I'm going to use the felt. Oh, that's nice. I like that. She's got a very nice smile. And there we have our paper plate Mother Theresa. I hope you enjoyed making it. Hello everybody. Today I'm going to teach you how to make a cardboard roll Mother Theresa. Now then, you'll have almost everything you need inside your brown envelope that says Wednesday. And you're going to need a pair of scissors, like so, some googly eyes and some glue. I'm going to use the very tacky glue. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to roll up my card like a toilet roll. Or I'm going to clip the inside edge there. If you've got any paper clips, that would be brilliant. Or if you've got these little clips that are really made for sewing, that would be brilliant too. If I let it ping open, you'll see that I've now got quite a big bit there that I can use my glue on. Head. Mother Theresa didn't have a flat head, did she? She had a rounded one, just like you and me. So I am going to get some bits of old paper. It can be tissue paper, it can be newspaper, it can be anything you like. There. The next thing I need to do is to take my piece of white felt and I'm going to measure about, oh, what would you say? That's about 2 centimetres, isn't it? Maybe a little bit more away from the top, because this part is going to be her face. So I cut that off very carefully down the line. Now then, this part is going to be her clothes, and the other part that we've just cut off is going to be the top of her sari that goes around her head. If I now take the body, needs to be stuck especially well around the edges. Next thing to do is going to be to do the sari, and the first part of it is going to be the bit that goes round her head. So catch it down all the way round and glue it. We'll take one of the blue bands and we're going to cut not a very big piece at all. We're going to make it very, very slight. Yeah. That's our second bit, and we're going to put that just above the first bit. I'm going to take my first bit of felt, my blue one, and I'm going to wrap it round the outside like that. Second one, this one's a tiny bit thinner, remember? So you can pull it a little bit to stretch it, but not too much. There she is. She's come together quite well now, isn't she? Put her a little bit closer so that you can see how far she's got. The last thing we're going to do is to use that piece of cloth that we cut out, and we're going to make it into the back of her sari. Take your piece of cloth, fold it in half, and then cut it about halfway down the sides. You could even cut out a little triangle shape. And once it's done that, we can stick it on top, like so. Bend it around the back. But before we do that, we have one last thing to do, and that's to put her eyes on and her mouth. There she is, waiting for her veil. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to turn her veil over, and I'm going to put glue all along the edge like so. And again, make sure I've got that right in the middle of her head. There, pull it back a bit. Make sure that it's the same on both sides and glue it down. And now we just need to fold over the parts at the back. And I'm just going to catch this part here with some more glue and fold it down. And there she is, our cardboard roll, Mother Theresa. I hope you enjoyed making her. Hello everybody, for today's activity you'll need to open your brown envelope that says Wednesday. It's quite a simple activity this time, so I hope you'll enjoy it. First thing we're going to do is to cut some of these out. These are little messages that you can give to people that you love and that you want to thank for something, or that you just want to cheer up or give them something beautiful for the day. It says, I hope this brightens your day. And then you can turn it into a tag. We turn it into a tag by putting a hole down one side, maybe just here. Okay, the closest thing I had to hand was a tea towel. So I folded it over lots of times so that I won't make a mark on the table. You'll be very careful to do the same, won't you? I'm going to use my pen, decide where I want the hole to be, and I'm going to press it in. The ribbon's quite big, so I'm going to make my hole a little bit bigger. The first thing I've got is, I thought maybe a picture that you make for somebody. Yours might be quite a lot bigger. So what I'd do there is I would thread my ribbon very carefully, tighten a knot that end, and use a little bit of sellotape or some glue to stick it on. Don't have to pay lots of money and make huge great presents to say that someone is special to you. I think that that says very clearly that I love you. And on the back of your message you could say, I love my family. Another idea is to collect a few flowers. I collected these from my garden. I've got a daffodil, I've got some pussy willow, and I've got some anemones. And I've tied them with a piece of ribbon. And this time I'm going to say simply, I love you. And I can decorate that. I can decorate it with sticky beads. I could use my glue, my sparkly glue, anything I wanted to make it even prettier. I love you. And again, I'm going to use my tea towel so I don't make a big hole anywhere. I'm going to use the ribbon that's already around my flowers. There you are, your very own bunch of flowers to tell somebody that you love them. And my third idea is, again, I shall cut out another one. I'm going to write an IOU. Do you know what an IOU is? It's when you promise that you'll do something or that you'll give somebody something, maybe not right at this very moment. So I'm going to write on here, I owe you a great big hug. And I'm going to put a heart at the top. So again, for somebody you love, you could say, I owe you a great big hug. And I hope that this brightens your day. And just watch and see how people smile when you do that. You can do it any day of the year, whenever you like, whenever you think somebody might appreciate it. So those were my 3 ideas. I'm sure that you will come up with even more.